Welcome back to another Wednesday night Fightback. Now, the residents of Jarrow and East Finchley are going to be given £1,600 per month for a period of time, gratis, from a think tank which is piloting, universal basic income, which is an idea which has some supporters. And I think we should discuss it and find out what it's about. What's your general reaction to this, Michael?
General reaction is that I understand this is being supported by the Green Party, so obviously it must have been well thought out and costed.
Yes.
No, basically, I think it's a tremendously bad idea. Both for obvious economic reasons, for philosophical reasons, and also for practical reasons. Do you want me to go through? Do you want me to go through those?
Yeah, I mean, well, you're an economist. Tell me about the incentives first. I mean, that's what concerns me.
Well, the incentives problem is huge. If you pay people loads of money to do nothing, they'll probably a fair proportion of them will do nothing. If they do nothing, they will produce no output. But if they still have an income, then they will be having more income, chasing less output. And the normal result of that is, of course, inflation, which makes everyone poorer. That's before you get into the more obvious questions of how on earth you fund this thing. So I think from an economical point of view, I can't understand why anyone would think it was a good idea. But I think there are worse objections to that, William. And the the two objections I have are philosophical and practical. Now, William, you're a father. I'm also a father. How are you with pocket money?
Well, we gave them pocket money and they had to do their best with it.
Yeah, I was always a little bit mean. My father was mean with pocket money because he discovered discounted cash flows. So he said, look, if I give you your pocket money a day early, you're going to get less. How's that? I was fairly stingy with pocket money. And if my daughters wanted to have more money, they could wash the car. The point is, that giving people money for nothing is infantilizing them. It really is. It's like the government, big, nice daddy government is going to give you pocket money. And I just think, as always, the bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. So I think that it's just philosophically, it's an awful, awful idea.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, I think the concern I have, if you read the Green Party's blurb on this, the basic idea is that you solve the welfare problem and the poverty problem by putting everyone on welfare. But their proposal is £89 a week. It's a bit like putting the entire population on job seekers allowance. So it's not actually a big enough income to live on, really. It's an odd proposal, and as you say, I mean, leave aside the question of how you fund it. We've already got a budget deficit of 100 odd billion, so it seems ludicrous to me. But the incentives do seem problematic. But my other main objection to this is that I think they've got the diagnosis wrong. I think there's not a word in the Green Party's press release on this about the real causes of poverty, which I would say are family breakdown and de-industrialisation. And those things are the big problems that you have to really, if you're honest about it, you have to deal with. Just saying, well, we're just going to give people some money for not doing anything is really probably the worst incentive of all you could make. It's probably the worst solution. And if you look at the really tough areas, the places where like the area of Ely in Wales the other day where they had that disturbance, they've got 30 and 40% of the population on some of those estates in welfare dependency, absolutely trapped. Yeah. This is not a solution to that. The people that are supporting UBI in relation to this are not being serious about trying to get people back to work. And if you read the Beveridge report, it was all about work.
Yes, contribution. Yes. The other thing that just en passant, I mean, it's also staggeringly unfair. Consider, you say, oh, this will be cheap to administer. Well, really, what if you have severely disabled people who really require more than, than UBI to live? Are they going to get it? I wonder. Are you going to have London waiting? Because all these things, these sort of obvious problems.
I think it's not. I mean, I know one or two people in the SDP support it, but I think probably my hunch is the majority probably don't. But we'll see. Anyway, what I would say is the other point I would say about the truck pilots they've done in Finland and places like that is that they're very inconclusive, and you can't actually trial this over 2 years because human beings can't properly adapt to incentives if they know it's only 24 months. You don't know. I suspect if they introduced this, a proportion of people would take the UBI and find themselves a cheap jurisdiction like Laos or Cambodia or southern Portugal possibly, and just have the UBI sent there and would have quite a nice time of it. It would provide the wrong incentive, and I'm against it. I think it's not honest about the real causes of poverty.
Yeah, absolutely. If we want to get rid of poverty, and by goodness me, we really do, then talk to us about industrial policy, talk to us about education, talk to us about getting the infrastructure right and getting a tax structure right. These are the things that matter. These are the things that will deal with poverty and are proved all over the world to deal with poverty.
They are, but the family is at the key of it, the breakdown in family life, and actually the breakdown in the passage of skills from grandparents to parents to children. And that's a major problem that people don't want to talk about. Anyway, so the listeners will be surprised to hear that we've actually agreed finally this week. Yeah. We agree that UBI is a terrible idea.
Well, there we are. A surprise every week, William, a surprise every week. Thank you very much.
Take care. Cheers.
Okay. Bye.